The Daily Focus is brought to you by You are welcome to the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi. Here we discuss politics, Pan-Africanism, entertainment, showbiz, health, sports, and other related issues. Tonight, we are discussing politics, and our topic and our discussion tonight is politics and public administration dichotomy, which simply means separation of politics from public administration. And we are asking a big question: is it a curse or a blessing to the Ghanaian society or the African continent? And you all know when we talk about politics, it's all about decision making, and then it involves disagreements, conflict, struggle, among others. This is said by Frank Goodman. So I'll go for a short break. When I come, we'll delve into public administration and politics dichotomy. You are welcome back. This is the Daily Focus. Tonight we are discussing politics, and the topic under discussion is public administration and politics dichotomy. And we are asking if separation of politics from public administration is a curse rather than a blessing to the African continent. And as I said earlier, politics is all about decision making. You see a lot of people struggling for power and the rest. And when we talk about administration, on the other hand, is implementation of policies. Public administration and politics dichotomy is all about separation of politics from public administration, and it's a theoretical model that emphasizes on orthodox model that said we should separate politics from administration, and we move on to the partnership model. Also is on the view that we cannot separate politics from administration because the two of them have kind of relationship, indirect or direct. In all the activities they perform, in all their functions, they need to relate to each other. That is partnership. And complementary model also said that they should not be separated from each other, and then they should work in hand. So when we link this to our society, is it a curse or is it a blessing? Because we see that a lot of politicians, or there's always change of government, of which administrators need to be changed, bring back another people and all those stuff. So tonight we have in the house Samuel Kofi Yeboah, who is the outgoing SRC president for AUCC, and then NPP head of communications and social media campaign team manager. So you'll be helping us to delve into this public administration and politics dichotomy tonight. So you just stay tuned, and then I'll be right back. Hello, you are welcome back. This is the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi, and I have in the studio Samuel Kofi Yeboah, who is the outgoing president for AUCC and head of communications, social media campaign team, Lejokuku NPP. He's in the house tonight. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, so tonight we are discussing separation of politics from public administration. Is it a curse or a blessing to our Ghanaian society or African continent as a whole? So what's your view on that?
I'll greet you and greet your viewers. Given such a rare opportunity, let me seize it and then send special greetings to the Municipal Chief Executive of the Dichotomy Municipality, Honorable Jamra, for the exceptional work she's doing.
Okay.
I also want to thank my able and indefatigable MP, the Deputy Minister of Health, the Jukuku Messi, Dr. Bernardo Kuboy. That you live in this constituency. I know you don't do much of partisan politics because you're a journalist, but even coming to your studio, you can see that your roads and drainage are constructed. You had not seen drainage since you came here. I'm not sure that the time you came to the station you had seen drainage system in this area before, but due to the hard work of Dr. Bernardo Kuboy and the able President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, such things are going on. This year was termed as a year of road, and exactly so. Let me also greet the constituency chairman of the NPP, and pardon me if I didn't greet you because this is not a real partisan political talk show. You asked the question that politics and then administration. I first of all want to define what politics is before we can even go into these theories. I see politics, or my definition of politics, is a set of activities that is associated to decision making in groups, okay?
Yeah.
And that has a bit of power relation, that has to do with distribution of status and resources.
Okay.
So from my above definition, it looks impossible to separate politics from administration.
Okay.
Because politics is everywhere, from creation to the way men live, to the way organization operates, to the way everything is done on earth. It's politics.
Okay.
Whether or not, why did you decide to choose me? There are so many alternatives you could have chosen. It is politics that made you choose me over somebody else, because you have the power to choose among a large number of people to come and discuss issues.
Okay.
When you are done, the text message you'll be reading, I'm not sure you can read all.
Okay.
What will make you read some over the other is because of politics.
Mm.
So I think that the definition of politics makes it impossible to separate it from public administration because it is married. The two are married together. In fact, it is not politics that is even married to it. The entire human structure.
Okay.
Because you've heard over times in the beginning that human beings are political animals.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, and it is true because our foundation, everything we do, everything we set out to do is politics.
Okay.
That is why I said early on that you can't separate it. However, I believe that what we are coming to discuss today should be partisan politics. Because for politics, I don't know how it can be separated from public administration or the entire human activity.
Okay.
So if it's for partisan politics, then we could dive into it. So
Okay, so Sami is of the view that politics and public administration should work hand in hand. That is, you are agreeing with partnership model. Okay, so now back to our question. Is it a blessing or a curse to our society?
yeah, like I was saying early on,
Yeah.
I find it strange that we cannot separate politics from public administration.
Okay. But is it working?
That's
The
what I'm
two of
saying.
them working
Our
together.
problem we face here in Africa and in Ghana has to do with partisan politics, not the politics itself. That is why in my intro I said that politics is something we cannot do away in even our normal lives.
Okay.
So how then do we separate it from a sector of our lives.
Okay.
It is practically impossible. So I would want to dwell more on partisan politics,
okay.
where a government change and maybe there's change of appointees, and that is politics, but that is partisan politics.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
I believe that every presidential candidate,
yeah,
they have visions.
Okay.
They have what they seek to achieve.
Okay.
They have their manifestos.
Okay.
The vision of the presidential candidate is what will drive the country if they win elections. So this presidential candidate says, when I come, I'll do A, I'll do B, I'll consolidate my gains. He says that I'll review this, I'll do that, I'll do that. So it is the vision that drives them. And I believe that going forward in our governance in Ghana, if A does not believe in your vision, it will be extremely difficult to set objectives and tactics that will drive that particular organization to move in the direction of the president. So because of where I come from, I'm using His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to set the example. He is saying that, look, I'll do free education. Or he said in 2016 that I'll do free education. I'll do one district, one factory. Okay. And he chose a minister for education who said free education could be done in 20 years' time. As somebody who said free education could be done in 20 years' time. How could he have achieved that vision? He couldn't have achieved that vision. His vision
That's
is
why when they come to power, they have to lay some people off and bring their own people that is in line with their vision.
Exactly. That is why I've used this practical example. That free education, we had people who were saying it is practically impossible, it cannot be done. The president said that, no, I have the vision. The candidate then said, I have the vision. I can do it. It is possible. So if we're going by what you're saying and had maintained somebody who does not believe it, then free education wouldn't have been possible. And you see the impact it is making in Ghana. People do not believe in what's it called, one district, one factory. If you had appointed somebody who does not believe in that, how would he have been? So it is the vision of the president that drives the country. So he appoints people who have similar vision or the same vision with him or him, so that they can bring about objectives and policies that will drive it into that direction. Having said this, the leader or the president after assuming office would have to look for competent people. There are a lot of people who may believe in your vision, ideologies, and what have you, but not all of them will be qualified for or will be competent enough for that particular portfolio. So that is what we must encourage, that giving the appointment, the president, and I know that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done it so well that he's the only president I've seen in the Fourth Republic that before giving appointment gave background about his appointees. So it tells you that, okay, because of this background I'm giving about these appointees, I'm sure and certain enough that the person can do A and B and C. But having said that, because this conversation is in the broader context, we have to look at appointing competent people to organizations to lead the agenda. Like I said earlier on, it is practically impossible to appoint somebody who does not believe in your vision to steer the affairs of an agency or an organization. It will not achieve your long-term strategic goals in that area. So I believe that is why it is done. But in the process of doing so, people who are appointed should have the skill and expertise and competence enough to be able to make sure that their objectives is in line, is benefiting the people, and falls within the overall strategic framework of the president.
Viewers, we'll be going for a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the functions, politicians perform and the functions administrators perform. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Daily Focus. Tonight we are discussing politics and public administration dichotomy or separation, and we'll be looking at functions they perform when we talk about politicians and we talk about administrators. I know administrators, their job is to implement politics, and politicians are to make or enact law. But moving straight to someone should also elaborate more on the functions they perform when it comes to politicians and public administrators. Honorable, when it comes to their functions.
Before we even go to the function, it is important to give a definition of who a politician is.
Okay.
And for me, I see a politician to be somebody who is active in partisan politics, that is the NPP, NDC in Ghana and other political parties, or a person holding or seeking government office.
Okay.
And their role is actually to support, propose, and enact laws that will inure to the benefit of the people.
Okay.
So this is the primary objective, because they are voted for.
Sure.
The entire framework of how the country will be driven will be in their hands.
Sure.
So they would say that, okay, president will say, okay, for me, my focus is on industrialization.
Okay.
You realize that most of the government resource and everything will go there, because that is the overall objective of the government of the day.
Yeah.
So you also see that the parliamentarians, who are also politicians, will be enacting laws in that particular regard.
Okay.
The agencies, the institutions, the ministry will also be moving in that direction, because that is, I'm just using it as an example. If that is the overall objective that the president seeks to achieve, you see that everything will move in that direction. So the actual work of the politician is to propose, enact, and bring about legislation and then other engagement, and in fact the strategic framework of the country to move in that direction. Okay. And the public administrators are to take these policies and make sure that it materializes. Okay. So an example is, let me still use free education, free SHS. Okay. The president's vision said you do free SHS. Okay. And when he brought the vision, you see that the Ministry of Education held it in high esteem. And the public administrators made sure, okay, when we do this, when we do that, when we take this off, when we take this out. So they made sure that it is done. Okay. The vision of the president was created clearly. Okay. Then it came through the appropriate ministry. So they also took it through their public servant. Okay. And they made sure that it was brought to the light of day. Okay. So they will the politicians will bring the policies, and then the technocrats or the public administrators will make sure that it is implemented. But now public administration is even moving from only implementation. Yeah. It is also now coming to where the public administrators themselves sometimes propose to government. Okay. Because they do the implementation and they see the real challenges. Okay. They are in a better position to also tell government that, okay, I think that beyond this is your vision, but can you please consider, let us also do this. Okay. Do you understand? So now public administration is also moving beyond only executing and implementing it. Okay. To also proposing some of them, and if it makes sense and falls within the strategic framework of the government, it will be upheld, and then it will be done all to the interest of the good people of Ghana.
Okay. One thing I want us to discuss is, if the president appoints you for an office, and then he asks you to do something, and you know that what he's asking you to do is not the right thing. How will you reject that? And you know your work is at stake if you reject that.
Well, I don't know what the supposed right thing is, because I believe that every leader has the country at heart.
Okay.
So why would the president say that do something? What that's something? Is it illegal? Is it
can
legal?
be some,
I want to.
you know, corruption is everywhere. Okay, let's just take Supreme Court for instance. President is responsible to appoint or nominate the Chief Justice, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but is it supposed to be so? President nominating Chief Justice?
Well, in the framework of our constitution, it is supposed to be so. And I know that.
What the constitution says, there should be separation of powers. Executive should be separated from judiciary. Judiciary should be separated from legislature. But why should the president be responsible for appointing the Chief Justice? So it means there's something wrong there.
Well, I also believe that the framers of our constitution, before proposing that, thought about so many things, which as I sit here, I may not know. So I may not be able to speak to it.
So can we say our constitution outlived its relevance?
Well, some of the sections, because of the times and seasons we live in, but we cannot say that the entire framework that has governed us for over more than a decade now has over. Some of them certainly will, but some of them, before we seek to talk about some of these things, we shouldn't only look at the literal meanings of them. We should also understand the purposive meanings. What was the purpose it was placed there? If we understand that, okay, for this particular purpose, this could serve it better than that purpose because we have come a long way, that makes it fine. I do not like to look at really the usual meanings. And I believe that even if we look at all the Supreme Court Chief Justices that have been appointed by the president, you don't see them doing the presidential bidding. Because you see, the law is in the bosom of the judges. So they are interpreting the law. So if we are found guilty of a crime, you can't say because of our president, the law is there.
The law is there.
Do you understand? So I do not see how a president would go and tell a Supreme Court judge that I want you to do, especially when the evidence is so clear. And you know, before the court brings out sentences beyond the law, they also look at the court of public opinion. What is the public opinion? If it's so clear, it is so open, there's absolutely nothing that can save you. So the law, that particular law that gives the opportunity for the president to appoint, that same law gives room to sanction if you go against it. So let us look at the reason why it was placed there. If it has outlived its relevance, then we can talk about that in another debate, in another talk. But for now, what we have is what we would use, and I believe that the Supreme Court has the judges and the Chief Justice, irrespective of who appointed them, have discharged their duties well and not in favor of any particular president or any particular candidate.
Okay, so are you of the view that the politicians can nominate or appoint administrators?
Usually, the framework we have now is that everybody, once you have you are eligible to apply, you can apply. And then you go for the series of interviews and what have you, and then you will be called. So it is not only the role of the politician to send somebody into public. There are so many people.
So CEOs also apply?
No, if you mean the heads of it.
The heads,
But I thought you meant that I do not have any problem if the CEOs are appointed by the president, because the CEOs fall under particular agencies, a ministry, and that ministry is also under government. Yeah. Do you understand? So the strategic framework of the president requires that all ministries, all agencies under that particular ministries will move within that direction. Okay. Do you understand? So let me use an example like Rights to Information Bill. Okay. The president said, okay, I want it to exist. Yeah. You realize that the Ministry of Information will take it up. Agencies under the Ministry of Information will take it up. So under the agencies are where there's the CEO. If you bring somebody who does not believe in its implementation now, how it can't come to the light of day. Okay. Do you understand me? So I do not have any problem if these people are appointed by the president to lead that strategic direction. If we have a problem with the president or with the government appointing people into agencies, then we should also have problem with elections appointing the president. Yes, because if we don't see any problem changing the president, but we see problem with the president changing CEOs to help to bring people who align the
president is changed by the
exactly the people. So the people, because of the message the president gave, the people fall in love and they said, yes, this can do the work. So the person who Ghanaians have elected should be able to bring out competent people to help him achieve what the Ghanaians want. So it is not anybody at all that believes in what you promise the people. Some of them will say that what you promise the people is not feasible, but that is what the people stood on to vote for you. So your expertise, your men, and what have you, should be people who believe in what you have said, so that they can move it within that direction. So that at the end of the day, when you go back to the people, you can tell them that you are a good and faithful servant. This is what you promised the people: free education. This is what you promised the people: NAPCO. This is what you promised the people: one village, one dam. Your people on the ground, or the people you helped, you appointed, have helped you to achieve that. So it's either they renew your mandate or they tell you that you didn't serve well, so you can be relegated. So I do not have any problem with the president appointing people, but like I said, the people should have the expertise. They should be qualified for it, so that they work in the interest of the people. Because I believe that the president also works in the interest of the people. There is no leader who is satisfied when his people are not satisfied.
Okay. All right, viewers. This is the Daily Focus with me, Joseph Kofi. I have in the house Samuel Kofi Yeboah, outgoing SRC president for AUCC and also head of communications, social media, Lejoku campaign team, NPP. I'll be back. Hello, you are welcome back to the Daily Focus. Tonight we are discussing public administration and politics dichotomy, and I have Sami in the house. He's of the view that we should continue to practice partnership model. That says that the two institutions should work together. Politicians and public administrators should work together for the benefits of the country, and he sees no reason presidents appointing or nominating CEOs, MCs of institutions. So we are coming to draw curtains to today's program. But before then, we would like to answer the big question: separation of public administration from politics. Is it a curse or blessing to Africa continent? Sami? We are back once again. So when we talk about the separation, the question is it a curse or is it a blessing? Is it moving us forward or backwards or standstill?
The problem we are facing as a continent of Africa, large of it has to do with our mindset.
Okay.
And another is sometimes the leadership style of the people we entrust power to.
Okay.
You see, in Africa, election has now become the one that has the deepest pocket. than the one that has the brothers of mindset or ideologies that can propel the country forward. So that is our problem, and our problem is not because of who the president certainly appointing here or there, but it is actually has to the people. Sometimes our mindset is very some way. That's
so
what they call it.
Everything has to do with our mindset.
Not at all. It's not everything. That I've also said that sometimes about the leadership style.
Okay.
So we should also be mindful of who to choose to lead us, because it's very important. If you choose somebody who has vision, if you choose somebody who is competent enough, if you choose somebody who has the country at heart, you expect the person to also choose people who are like him, so that the country will be propelled forward. But if you choose the other one, that is our problem. The choosing is our problem, because we are thinking about the pocket, who gives me the fat money so that I vote for him. And if you continue to move in that direction, there will continue to be hewers of woos and drawers of waters. But if we look at somebody who is competent, dedicated, who has a track record, or who has shown signs that he can lead the country well, then all his appointees will certainly be people who will also move in a strategic direction of it. So I believe that so far so good. Sometimes, depending on who we elect in Ghana, it has been a curse. But depending on the other people who have Ghanaians have sought to change, like His Excellency Adedan Kwanana Akufo-Addo, it has been a blessing. So the Ghanaian people are excited, and then certainly I know that they will add up more 4 years to his.
So I'm sure your colleagues from the other side, NBC, you also said selecting President Nana is a curse, and the other side is blessing. What do you have to say about that?
You see, it is not about them saying it. It is about the Ghanaian people saying
Ghanaian people.
If the Ghanaians slept in Doomsaw for 4 years and now Doomsaw is no more.
Okay.
If
is Doomsaw actually solved by the current government?
Oh, exactly. You know, we said that the problem was not about bringing power badges. It was about money owed the Nigeria people. Okay. And the money has been paid. I really say that if Doomsaw was solved in NDC, why did their energy minister resign? He said if Doomsaw did not stop by December, he resigned. So if he solved it, why did he resign?
Okay.
So the Ghanaians will tell if the Doomsaw they were sleeping in NDC was okay for them, then they can know that it is a curse. Ghanaians will know that under a certain president, he said that under a certain candidate, he said that he was going to make secondary education free. The NDC said it was not possible. Now it is possible, and their children are even enjoying it. So they know who is a blessing and who is a curse.
Okay, so when we move it from Ghanaian society, talking about Africa continent, is it at a broader aspect? Is it a curse or blessing?
That's what I'm saying. It depends on which leader you are choosing at a particular time.
Okay.
Do you understand? So if you mention a country like Rwanda, now it's a blessing to them, because you know Paul Kagame loves his people. He wants to move in a direction that brings about development to his people. So you appoint people like him to govern. So Rwanda is going on. If you look at my own Joseph John Pombe Magufuli in Tanzania is going on well. Do you understand? If you look at Ghana is good. So it depends on the leader you are choosing at a particular time.
Okay.
Would it be a blessing or would it be a curse?
Okay.
So in Ghana, I can confidently say that it's been a blessing to us.
So there is a cordial relationship between the administrators and the politicians.
Exactly. You make a very big and general statement. Politicians are corrupt. No, it so cannot be the case. You know, it will be permitted if you say some.
Yeah.
Yes, because for you to make a broad categorical statement like all politicians are corrupt, it cannot be the case. Some. But you see, the irony is that some of the technocrats are even more corrupt than the politicians, because they have been in the system for long. They know how to maneuver through the system and get what they want, and the politician may not even know.
Okay.
Because the job will be done down there, and by the time you know.
So is that not the reason why the technocrat or the administrator should not be laid off anytime there is change of government?
So
since they know more about the job.
Oh yes, I'm not disputing the fact that they do not know more about the job.
Yeah.
And you know, the technocrats, they are not sad though when they come to, they are not sad though.
Okay.
Maybe they are transferred. So you are going to do the same job you were doing maybe in Accra, somebody else. Maybe your expertise is needed somewhere else.
Okay.
It is the heads.
Okay.
Usually the heads. There's no government can come and sack everybody. No, you can't do that. So it is, they are doing their work, but I find it completely funny if you say that you make it all politicians are corrupt. I also want to seek to you that you can say some, but sometimes we'll also look at the technocrat, because they can make you or unmake you. By the time you realize, you'll be in trouble because you go and answer the questions.
Sure.
So let me still conclude on is it a curse or a blessing? I believe it will either be a curse or it will be a blessing, depending on who you give the opportunity to lead you.
Okay. That's okay. So viewers, this is the Daily Focus, and we are trying to answer if separation of politics from public administration is a curse rather than a blessing to our society. And Samuel Kofi Eboa, who is outgoing SRC president of AUCC, he's of the view that we should practice the partnership model. Partnership model was actually advocated by Marshall DeMock. So I think from today I have to add some more Kofi Eboa to it, making it well known. So that is that he is of the view that it will either be a curse or blessing depending on the person we have given the opportunity to. But before we go, Sami, how is the campaign in your constituency, Lejokuku?
Last Monday, the constituency campaign team was inaugurated.
Sure.
And I happened to be in charge of social media or new media.
Okay.
So I thank the executives for giving me such an opportunity to serve them.
Okay.
And doctor said something that touched my heart that day. He said that the God that helped us in 2016, that same God is alive, and that same God will help us in 2020.
I like the fact that he always put God first. I could realize, I covered the story that when he was called to speak, he raised one spiritual song. Yes.
And when he lifts up his hands, everything comes. So the God that helped us in 2016, for which reason we are doing your road, we are giving you drainage you have not seen before. The people of Sea Lady also having road and drainage, the people of Aluwe having roads and drainage. You go to Malek, you go to the wharf at the port. And next month the MCE made it known to you that she and Dr. Koboy, they have facilitated, and an ultra-modern sports complex will be sword will be cut at Star Park for a nice astroturf. So by and large, campaign is going on when we have said, the party in general has said that we are going to do retail campaign, and the Lejokuku retail campaign has begun. Yesterday, doctor was at a health screening around Green Hotel, that area, Blizzard. So we have started campaign. Last Tuesday, you could see him riding bicycle around. And, if you have a young, vibrant, dynamic MP like this, it's easier. He doesn't wait. You don't have to call him before you see him. You can even see him by surprise, riding bicycle around. Sure. So we have started a campaign, and we know that the God that helped us in 2016, like I said, will continue to help us. But our tool, which will enable us to win this election, is discipline and hard work. These are the tools that we will drive on to win this election, and also let the people know what we have done for them when they give us the 4 years, and the fact that they should give us 4 more years to continue what you have done for you. The one that has started your WAF for you at the landing beach, the one that has started your almighty Teshi Link Road, the one that has started all these projects I mentioned in Siledi, Aloe, Kamtu, and so on and so forth. It is prudent that you also have to give that person one more term to finish the work. So I appeal to all registered voters in the Lejokuku, over 151,000 of them, that when they go to the polls, the one that has started the good job, you should give him another 4 more years to finish that good job for them. Because we do not want any other person to come and review, which is a nice way of cancelling things. We have started it. Let us begin the work. And I know that 4 more for Oko and Nana will change the face of Teshi. Yo, since you came to Teshi long ago, you have not seen such a monumental project or such huge project or many projects going on within Teshi like this. But now it's within your eyes. So I know that we played with the people of Teshi that as the time is drawing near, they should be focused. They shouldn't be deceived by anybody. And when 7 December reaches, they should cast their votes for His Excellency Adodan Kwanana Akufo-Addo, and then give Doctor another 4 more years to do more for them.
Okay. All right, viewers, that's Samuel Kofi Yeboah, the new media and social media committee member of the campaign team, MPP. Give a shout out to some people in 2 minutes before we draw curtains to today's show.
Let me first give thanks to the youth group, V16, and their coordinator, the assistant secretary, Opare, for doing very, very good work. I also send special greetings to the constituency secretary, such a young and dynamic boy, full of energy, wisdom. Odonko. I greet him. In fact, I greet all the constituency executive. I also greet my guys, Anthony, Simon, and Alex, for also always coming together for us to work for the party, because you know it is how Teshi and Ghana will develop is why we are doing this. If not, we would be in bed sleeping. But the works that His Excellency Adodan Kwanana Akufo-Addo has started, we would be described as not being patriotic enough if we do not help the old man to continue the good work he has started. Because at the end of the day, it will adhere to the benefit of the people of Ghana, and then retaining Doctor would also adhere to the benefit of the people of Teshi. So I plead with all persons, especially the youth, that come December 7th, they should come out and endorse 4 more for Nana and 4 more for Dr. Okuboy to do more for them. Thank you very much.
Viewers, this is the Daily Focus. My name is Joseph Kofi. Here ends today's segment. Catch you next week. Bye.